Hello, I'm Brian McGee, president of Quincy University. To all of our alumni, as we think about this virtual homecoming, welcome to the President's House at QU. We're here in what would have been the original family room of the Quincy University President's House. I'm like every other president who's lived here. I know that I'm a tenant and I'm part of a continuing history of this house, which serves our alumni, our students, our faculty and staff with events throughout the year. And over the years and decades, people have amassed memories of this house, which has taken on the character of each person who's lived here, whether it was the two priest presidents who lived here, the sister who lived here, or in my case, as the third lay president of QU. Behind me, for example, is a sketch that Carl Warma, a professor here at QU, gave me on the day that I was announced as Quincy University's 24th president. It's a beautiful sketch of the QU chapel, and it's a reminder to me of that great day, and it's part of this room, which I've tried to give a bit of a Franciscan flavor. We're still here in the family room. This is a room that is at the front of the house and with the big fireplace that keeps people warm and cozy in the winter months. This room I like to think of as having a Franciscan flavor, and certainly I've tried to give it a Franciscan theme. Over the fireplace, for example, there's a print that was used by one of the previous presidents, I don't know which ones, which shows a 1999 art exhibit that had a Franciscan theme. Also, right here we have a statue of a hawk, and there's a little hawk theme throughout my office in Francis Hall, of course, here as well. We're proud of our great hawk tradition. Part of signaling our Franciscan identity at QU is making the President's House resonate with the experiences of Francis and representations of St. Francis of Assisi throughout the ages. Behind me, for example, is a print from an art book of a previous century that represents in turn some of the wonderful European art that chronicled St. Francis's life and times. This is a scene, for example, of the famous meeting of St. Francis with a religious figure from the Muslim world. And there are some prints like this throughout the house, all designed to remind us of our wonderful Catholic and Franciscan heritage. We're now here in another downstairs room at the Quincy University President's House. You know, the house's history with QU is a bit of a mystery to me still. We know the house was built before World War II. The best date we have for it is 1927. And it was a comfortable home, like many homes in this part of Quincy, Illinois, designed to serve families. And it served in that way for decades and decades here at the northern edge of what was then the Quincy College campus. Right next to this house are three residence halls in a row built in the 50s and 60s. What's now called Woods Hall, along with Garner Hall and the former Centennial Hall, now Heline Hall, taking up the rest of the block between here and 20th Street on Chestnut. The house was acquired by QU before it was actually used as a president's house. Of course, the Franciscan presidents lived for a long time with the rest of the friars in the friary. But beginning a few decades ago, the priest presidents started to live here, and then ultimately those of us who've been lay presidents of QU have been here as well. And as you can tell, the house is a lovely Chicago bungalow. It really is a perfect fit for Quincy University. It is modest, it is unassuming, it is about serving people in a comfortable and hospitable environment, and that comes all the way down to the chiming of the clock that is just here to my left, a grandfather clock that I found shrink-wrapped in plastic that had come out of the house decades earlier, and it's one of the older artifacts from the house that got restored to it when I moved back in. So throughout the house, as is true when every president occupies it, there are some pieces that belong to the current president, there are some pieces that belong to Quincy University, and each year and each decade the house takes on the identity of its current president, but also takes on new features, new furnishings, new wall coverings that serve the next president and presidents as well. So anyone who's ever been in this house sees some things they saw before, but also sees some new things. And I'd like to think that the house keeps being adapted to the current needs of the time and meets the needs for hospitality of Quincy University and of its president with each decade. I'm here in the music corner of this room with a piano that belongs to past President Phil Conover. President Emeritus Conover knew that I was looking for a piano for the house, and he said, "Hey, I've got one to loan you." So we now have the Conover piano sitting here in the President's House. And if Phil ever needs it back, he's welcome to it with our thanks. But boy, it's a wonderful addition to this place, and it has added music and warmth to this house since it arrived. You also see on top of the piano just a few items suggesting that I have a fondness for mid-century modern architecture and mid-century modern art, which is why we have a little fun with these vases. And here, quite proud of the fact this house does include some of the work of a wonderful alumna, Teresa Spear, who's not only a member of the Board of Trustees of Quincy University, but an amazing artist. And I'm grateful that thanks to her, we have some wonderful examples of her work here in the home. We're here in the dining room, which contains some pieces I brought to Quincy, but it also contains some artwork that is specific to Quincy. I like to think of this as the Quincy room here in the house. And so in this room, we have illustrated art from the 1870s behind me, from a wonderful 1870s era atlas of Quincy, Illinois. We have a 1930s era atlas page showing Adams County and its roads. We have a 1950s piece representing the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln-Douglas debates. And my favorite piece from 1900 is a wonderful old picture of President William McKinley's visit to Quincy, Illinois. Of course, Quincy has always been an important city in Middle America, and it was not unusual for presidents to make a stop here. So that picture of McKinley represents many presidents of both parties who were here in Quincy at different times. But I love the warmth and comfort of this room and its natural wood, along with all of the great old wood in this house. The heart of every home is its kitchen. And while this house had a wonderful and charming galley kitchen when it was built, a few years ago, a previous president decided that we needed to have a space in which we could gather large groups of alumni and students, faculty and staff. And that's why there is a new enlarged kitchen here at the President's House. When they built this kitchen, they clearly built it for entertainment and for being able to feed a fair number of people. I am not a great cook, but I've been learning a lot since I got here. And of course, frankly, with COVID-19 and the pandemic, I've had more time to practice my cooking skills. I could not have told you what a proofing drawer looked like before I got to Quincy University, but I'm trying to put all of the equipment of this house to good use. We're here upstairs in the private space that I get to use for my everyday living. This is a guest bedroom that my daughter and son have both used at different times. And this room represents the fact that my late wife was a huge fan of Star Wars, and I'm a big fan of Star Trek. So this room has both of those science fiction traditions in combat with each other, because half of the room has Star Trek stuff and half of it has Star Wars stuff. Whatever science fiction or fantasy genre you prefer, this room probably has a little something for you. At many colleges and universities across the United States, the upstairs of the President's House is the President's and family's private space, where guests more rarely go. And that's true for us here at QU. The attic has been finished so that there is a bedroom for the President, there is a guest bedroom, and there's a living area where I can comfortably sit, and that is exactly what I get to do from time to time. It's a warm and relaxed space, and it contains more of the things from my own family. Behind me, for example, is a bookshelf that includes many of my books and some of the books of my late wife, along with some artifacts from our family. That includes the Star Wars and Star Trek memorabilia that marked my life with my late wife, and also it is a fun collection that makes me smile. Today I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the rooms and some of the things that are here at the President's House at Quincy University. It's a warm, relaxing, caring place for students, faculty, staff, alumni, and of course for me and members of my family when they're in Quincy. I enjoy living here, but I enjoy most of all spending time with the wonderful and caring members of this community. Thanks again for being here. It's always a great day to be a Hawk, and it's always a great day to be an alumnus of this great institution.